All right, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to get into a variety of topics, but this first one is that the Model X, a brand new Tesla Model X, is reaching lower levels in pricing that we've ever seen in a while. And so now you can potentially get one for a, I guess low is a real word to say, right? With the Model X, but almost getting to a price of $89,990, which for fun fact is the old price of what the Tesla Model X refresh actually came out at. So we're gonna get into that plus a variety of different topics, including like used Tesla prices are dropping 5 digits at a time, and the new Supercharger that just got released, some details on that through version 4, and then also I'll give you my thoughts on full self-driving, enhanced autopilot, and do I actually think it's actually worth it? So we're gonna get into a variety of topics, but before we do that, let's roll that intro real quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on a Tesla at the best possible financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel and get access to my buying guide, which has a list of all the best financing rates for your Tesla down below in the description. And also shout out to my latest Patreon members. We've got Ann, Travis. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for checking out and supporting the channel. And if you want to check it out, YouTube join link or the Patreon link down below in the description. All right, so let us take a look at this Model X, a very expensive vehicle. It's probably Tesla's most expensive vehicle, and there was a price drop pretty recently, right? $10,000, bringing it to a low price of $99,990. The Model X Plaid, though, is only $10,000 more. But if you were to ask me, is the Plaid worth it? I'm not sure it is, because there's really no differences besides like a badge and of course a 0 to 60 faster speed. So I'm not sure it actually would be worth it. I feel like it's just more of like a flex at the end of the day. But fun fact is that the Model X, when it first came out in the refresh version, way back when, we can take a look at the Tesla price history tracker right here. It started at a price of $89,990. This was the price January 27th of 2021, and that's when the Model X was refreshed. And in terms of what actually happened during the refresh, it was like it went from vertical screen to horizontal screen. They changed like the front bumper a little bit, the rear bumper, and of course the rims. Not much really else changed other than that. So it was like a mini refresh. And so a lot of people think that's what the Model 3 and the Model Y refresh will be, maybe later this year or even next year. And so right now, if you go to waitingfortesla.com, you can see right here, this Model X, a 2023 demo vehicle. It is still brand new, only has 38 miles on it. It's got an over $11,000 discount, $11,160 discount, bringing it down to $90,330. Of course, that's still a lot of money, definitely a lot of money for a vehicle. And of course, probably not a lot of people that watch the channel, probably Model 3 and Model Y buyers, but it's really cool to see that Tesla is starting to hit the discount button even on these really high vehicles. And it kind of makes sense, right? Because these vehicles are essentially sitting here. They're in the inventory and they're not actually selling, as quickly as some of the other vehicles. And so right here, they've definitely hit the clearance button on Model X's. You can see there's a handful of them, all like $10,000 discounts, $7,000 discounts, a bunch of them in the $6,000 discount. But the one thing that is really weird with this one is it's a build date of October 28th, 2022. So that's a really old build date, really way back when for that. So, it's definitely doesn't have hardware for it. It's definitely potentially has the older cameras as well. But if you are a Model X buyer, then, do you really need the new hardware for it and all that stuff with full self-driving and autopilot? But of course, or enhanced autopilot. But of course, we'll talk about that at the end as well. For my thoughts on, do I actually think it's worth it? But a good amount of inventory for the Model X, and we're starting to see a discounts across the board, for all their different vehicles. You can see right here, I've got it sorted to Model 3. We've got 700 discount, 1500 discount. Yesterday, we saw like a $3,300 discount on a Model 3 standard range that probably, disappeared and sold really, really quickly. And then even on the Model Y side, there's starting to be discounts as well. There's only 86 in inventory that are brand new, but right here, you can see 10 of them are demo discount, $1,200 or $1,100 discount, $960 discount. So it's across the board. Tesla is starting to try and clear some of this inventory, and they're hitting the discount button across all the different vehicles. Model S, though, seems to still be holding strong. I want to see a Model S like under $80,000, back to like the $79,990 price that basically what it started at before all of this. So if you take a look at the Model S price history tracker, you can see in January of 2021, when the refresh actually came out, it started at a price of $79,990. So Model S could get there one day. I mean, if you are looking for a deal on a Model S or even Model X, I feel like the used deals might be the best place to try and find a deal if you're looking for that. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on this. If you're in the market for a Model X, I don't think anybody's really talking about Model S or Model X pricing. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. But we're going to jump into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down in the description is the Patreon link for support the channel, so definitely check it out if you're interested. Water break. If you're just joining in, welcome. Well, we got a handful of topics, but right here, this first one, $11,000 discount on a Model X. And of course, we've been doing polls on the channel every single day. And the last question we asked was, is the Tesla, or will the Tesla be your first car? Because I was actually curious out there, right? And actually 17% said, yup, it was their first car. So what is that? Like almost 100 people out there that Tesla was their first vehicle. But over the majority of the people out there, 43% said Tesla was not their first car. And then 25% said it's been my second or my third. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. There's another one we did yesterday. How often do you supercharge? 3 to 4 times a week, 8%. Majority was never. Wow, 31% said I never supercharge. It's too expensive. And then 24% said once a month. And so what's pretty funny here is that we've been supercharging every single charging point for the Model X, because I still have a lot of supercharger miles left. So I figured I might as well worth it. But what I've heard is that all you really need to do is just make sure that you precondition the vehicle a lot before you arrive at the supercharger, and so it will protect the battery much more. But in terms of Model Y inventory, it seems like it's starting to sell pretty quickly, and usually around the weekend we get a dump of a lot of all-wheel drive standard range versions, but it usually either can happen on Sunday or Monday. But we've got a week and a half left in the month for people to take delivery of their vehicle to take advantage of the federal tax credit, the $7,500 federal tax credit on the Model 3 and the Model Y. But really no update on this. Of course, we're probably not going to hear any updates over the weekend. And so, that certainly probably makes a lot of sense, especially because they're closed. But you probably will hear some updates Monday or Tuesday. And so we'll definitely be on top of it to make sure we report the news, I guess. All right, so we're going to get into our next topic here. Let's see, let me pull it up. All right, so welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. In this next topic, it seems like used Tesla prices are dropping very severely, to the tune of over $21,000 in the past whatever time frame, a year and a year and a half. So we'll definitely take a look at from their high point. So I really only like 6 months, and we haven't talked about used Tesla deals in a while. So we'll take a look at some auction values to see, how it's really doing out there in terms of actual pricing. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla really with the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us jump into it. Here is a tweet from Car Dealership Guy. The average price of a used Tesla is $21,000 lower than the peak last July. It's a 24-month low. And this is a crazy spike, right? Of course, this was pre anything that happened in the past couple of years. And then basically we had supply chain issues, vehicles, delay inventory and all that stuff. And so prices of used Teslas really went up and up and up. And this was a crazy time, right? You could literally buy any vehicle, not, Tesla not included, and sell it, drive it for a little bit, sell it, and not lose a bunch of money or even make some profit. So definitely a super crazy time. But here on this data chart from Car Gurus, the July 2022 peak was $67,915 for the average price of a used Tesla. Of course, that does include like Model S and X vehicles in the mix. And now it has dropped $21,000 down to $46,916 as an average price. And if you're wondering where this data actually comes from, it comes from Car Gurus. They actually track all the different prices across all the vehicles in terms of their list retail price, and you can actually sort it down to brand and then even sort it down to model. So we'll go to like the Tesla Model Y because that's probably the most popular car across all the different brands or all the different models that Tesla has. And you can see year over year, or even the past 90 days, the retail prices of all these Model Y trims or even Model Y years has gone down. So the days of like buying a Model Y, driving it off the lot and trying to make money on it are certainly gone, especially if you live in a place that has high sales tax on the vehicles. I'm talking like Maryland, 6%, California, 8% to 10%. And so, you cannot make profit anymore. So I did get that question asked me earlier this week, like, hey, I've got 2 orders for a Model Y, whatever. Should I just cancel, or do you think I can make profit if I drive it and try and sell it right after? And it's a really risky decision, just because out the door with taxes and everything of a Model Y, you're probably like $59,000. But the one thing, if you are interested in trying to see if you could, I guess essentially flip a Tesla, is you could go to websites like Car Buyer USA's. Take a look at what they're trying to purchase, like 1-year-old or even current, model year Teslas, and then you can really quickly see what the offer is out there. So of course, it only allowed me to do a 2022 Tesla Model Y, and a 2022 Tesla Model Y long range with 1,000 miles has a value to them of $44,000. But we can also go to auction. This is Manheim auction reports. We should be able to put in a 2023 Tesla Model Y, because there should be vehicles like that actually going out to the auction now. And you can see right here, 2023 Tesla Model Y long range, $52,000 that just sold last week with 3,000 miles, and one before that, $50,000 with 2,000 miles. So if you factor in taxes, tags, and everything, but if you do factor in like the $7,500 federal tax credit that you essentially might be able to harvest, but you probably won't, because technically the $7,500 federal tax credit does say in the rules right here, you cannot be buying the vehicle for resale. And so, the days of trying to sell, buy a vehicle and then selling immediately for profit are certainly gone. But Tesla prices are certainly, going down. Used ones, I would say they've bottomed at this point, and they're starting to flatten, because it makes sense, right? Right now it's tax season. People have extra money into their wallets and stuff like that. They're getting refunds, and so they can certainly turn around and try and buy a vehicle, or they want to buy a vehicle after that. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you selling a Tesla to get another Tesla? I've talked to a handful of you in which you were trying to sell your Model 3 and then get into another Tesla, and because of trade values and things like that, it's just a little bit harder to navigate that at the moment. You might be losing a lot on either side of the coin, but definitely some pretty interesting stuff. So definitely know what your thoughts on it. We're getting into our next topic, but before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down in the description is a Patreon link, so definitely check it out if you're interested in supporting. Water break. If you're just joining in, welcome. Tesla Model X, this is probably the biggest discount that we've seen in a while. We've got one right here with a $11,000 discount and another one right here with a $12,000 discount, bringing it down to $90,330 for a brand new Tesla Model X, almost close to the old price of $89,990. Happy Hippo, welcome back. I can't believe Tesla keeps lowering their prices across the board, hurting resale values. No other brand lowers MSRP. They keep increasing prices, plus the dealerships ad market on top of that. Yeah, Tesla, I mean, they'll do anything to try and hit sales numbers, which, I mean, in the long run, you're right, Happy. It might not have a lot of trust in the brand at the end of the day. It's almost like a game at the end of the day. Crusher, welcome back. What's up? Thank you. Rex getting really attractive now. Yeah, I mean, this could drop down another $10,000, maybe. Maybe another $5,000. So of course, I feel like the sweet point for a lot of people, or sweet spot for a lot of people, is like a $79,000 Model X, and so maybe we will get there at some point. So Rex, what's your buy point? What price would you really want to buy a Model X? They kind of had to lower the price of the standard Model X since the 6-seat option made it only $3,000 cheaper than a Plaid Model X. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the Plaid and the long range are pretty close in price, like $10,000 swing essentially. And the 6-seater option is like what, a $6,500 option, which is a tough pill to swallow, I guess, at the end of the day. For San Francisco Bay Area 19-inch rims orders, as an educated guess, what do you think is the cutoff order date for Q1 and Q2 deliveries? I think at this point, you mean like cutoff order date? Like if you order now, or even you're definitely not getting it between the Q1. Yeah, actually, I don't know what you exactly mean there. But yeah, let's see if we can switch over to the next topic here. All right, well, in this next topic, it looks like we've got more details about the Tesla V4 supercharger, and it seems like it potentially might be twice as powerful as what is currently out there. So we'll take a look at this article that we found, and I'm pretty excited for this to see if we can get past a certain speed. But it seems like the Tesla vehicles are capped at like a 250 kilowatt speed anyways for the actual vehicles, but the hardware might be able to go past that. So we'll definitely take a look at it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best possible price, or just getting really good financing. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. So let's take a look at this. Shout out to Not a Tesla app. Tesla's V4 Superchargers power design and cable length actually revealed. And this was actually spotted because it seems like the power rating could go all the way up to 600 watts. And so right now, of course, like the current superchargers, at least in America, can only go up to 250. But there's not a lot of people know that not all superchargers are actually the same. We've got like 72 kilowatt superchargers. You've got 125 kilowatt superchargers, 150, and then 250 in the US. While other brands out there might have like a 350 kilowatt DC fast charging out there, but Tesla only goes up to 250, and that might just be because like the current vehicles can only go up to 250, and maybe Tesla is certainly limiting that in some sort of fashion. But it seems like the new V4 superchargers in Europe that they're starting to roll out, that they have not brought to the US yet, have longer cables and lights on top of having the ability to go up to 600 watts. So that would be twice as fast, or maybe even more than twice as fast as it currently is in the US. So that could be pretty exciting. I mean, I'm not sure, like, I guess it would have to be see how much it is in real world use, because right, if you go to a Tesla supercharger now, like that can go at 250 kilowatts, you get there with like 15% of the battery. It's going to take 30 minutes just to get to like 80% no matter what. So I'm not sure if it would shave off that much more time, but going to like 350 or even 450, it could bring the time down maybe like 5 minutes to 10 minutes total at best at the end of the day. But who knows, right? Well, I mean, we'd love to check them out and see at the end of the day how fast they can certainly be, but pretty exciting stuff to see that Tesla is rolling out with a new supercharger design, longer cables, and of course, potentially a faster supercharger. So let me know what your thoughts on it. we're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is sponsored by my Patreon links. Down in the description is the Patreon link, so definitely check it out. RP, thanks for coming in. I just got mine delivered 5 days ago, 70 miles so far. Build quality is really good. Congrats to you, Marcus. Did you get a Model Y or a Model 3 or even S or X? And which factory did it come from, or were you able to check, or did you even care, I guess, because it seems like the Austin, Texas Model Ys are basically as like the same quality as some of the other ones. Or at least same as Austin or as Fremont. So in this last topic, I do want to give some sort of like a PSA on, I guess, my thoughts on Tesla Enhanced Autopilot and Tesla Full Self-Driving, and whether I think it's actually worth it. I get this question a lot, I feel like, on whether should someone pay that extra $6,000 for Enhanced Autopilot or $15,000 for Full Self-Driving. And so we'll talk about that on what I actually think. And maybe there's a way that if you are interested in actually trying those features, there's actually a much more cheaper way that a lot of people don't know about, that they don't even really like announce it on anywhere. And so I'll show you actually on how to do it, or how to try those features for potentially only $100 to $200. So we'll talk about that. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on a Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us take a look at this. So when you build a Tesla, you can see right here, we've got the Model Y up on the screen. At this point, I certainly would not recommend putting an order in unless you really don't care about the $7,500 federal tax credit. But if you take a look down here, right, of course, there's a lot of different options that you can choose. You can do long range or performance. There is a third trim, of course, which is the Model Y all-wheel drive standard range, which is $2,000 less than this current price, or actually no, $3,000, right? Let's see. I think it's almost $3,000 less than this current price. And then of course you've got color, you've got wheels, and interior color and seating layout. But when you get to this section, you've got a lot of different options here, right? You've got Enhanced Autopilot for $6,000, which has Navigate Autopilot, Auto Lane Change, Auto Park, Summons, and Smart Summons. But the fun fact with all of this at the moment, at least with the Enhanced Autopilot, is because the 2023 Tesla Model Y and Model 3 does not come with USS or ultrasonic sensors, a lot of these features are actually disabled. But even if they were able, like a lot of these are, I think, party tricks to me. I really did it. I've had the Enhanced Autopilot and I've had Full Self-Driving, and none of them were, really something that I would use every single day. I did use kind of Summon one time to move the car up just a little bit. But really the only feature here that is used a lot when I actually had it was Auto Lane Change. Only because when you're in the lane on Autopilot, you can actually just hit the ticker, and then the turn signal would actually make the lane change for you. But the one thing is that Autopilot, is standard on all the Tesla vehicles that you can buy today, brand new, and that's what everybody thinks that they want. That's the system that keeps you in the lane, accelerate and decelerates for you, hits the brakes, and it's really great on the highway drives, open road highways where you can commute to, or any sort of road trips. That's where it certainly makes a lot of sense. So really, is Enhanced Autopilot worth it? Not for $6,000, and certainly not for really only for the auto lane change. And so I saw this tweet, shout out to Black Model 3 Zach on Twitter, and he put a poll out there, is Full Self-Driving worth $15,000 in its current state? And a full almost 70% said no, it is not. And then he did a follow-up poll. If you answer no, what is it worth then? And actually a good 40% said $4,000 to $6,000. And so I thought that was a little high. I still think Full Self-Driving is worth maybe $2,000 to $4,000 at best, because it definitely is only worth $2,000 to $4,000 at best on the used side, maybe even $3,000 in terms of if you're comparing two used model whatevers, and one has Full Self-Driving and one doesn't. You should really only add like $2,000 to $3,000 in valuation to that other vehicle that has the Full Self-Driving. But taking a look at this, like full self-driving at $15,000, it's definitely not worth it. But if you really want to try these features, if you really want to see like what it is all about, there's actually a way to get full self-driving and enhanced autopilot for $100 to $200 a month. And so this is a little bit of a PSA, because a lot of people, instead of plunking down this $6,000 to $15,000 all at once, to bring this vehicle, like this is a Model Y from $55,000. If you add full self-driving, it's a $70,000 vehicle. That's a ton of money. There is actually a subscription policy or a subscription program. If you want the basic autopilot to full self-driving or to enhance autopilot, it is $100 a month. If you want the full self-driving capability, it's $200 a month. So I would say my recommendation, save the $6,000 or save the $15,000 to keep that in your pocket, and certainly just try full self-driving or enhanced autopilot for a month or two and pay just a subscription. And so that way you could really see what it's all about. So that's just a little bit of my PSA, save your money and see if you can try and do one of these instead of plunking down all of it all at once. And then there's also a lot of variety of issues as well. Like if, let's say you get enhanced autopilot or full self-driving and you get into some sort of, accident or total loss, the valuations of this kind of stuff it's kind of hard to value at the end of the day for used cars. So that's why I would say if you're trying to just protect, the value of it and risk on like that, I would just say just do the subscription if you really want to try it at the end of the day. And you'll probably notice that it's not necessarily worth the $5, $6, or even definitely not $15,000 that Tesla is trying to charge for it. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Have you tried the enhanced autopilot or the full self-driving, and do you completely agree? I know Happy Hippo definitely agrees. But we're going to get into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down in the description is the Patreon link where you support the channel. And you get access to my buying guide, which has links to all the resources that I use to get the best possible deal at the best possible price, including credit unions and banks on that list that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Model Y Fremont, wish it was Austin with those new batteries. Oh, did you get the Model Y standard range or did you get the Model Y long range? Well, congrats to you, Marcus. Congrats, nice pickup. Crusher, still no VIN. Guess my Model Y long range backlog is too large. I've seen other people with Orate 113, even they don't have a VIN yet. I mean, yeah, there certainly could be a rush at the end of the month. I mean, we've 14 days left, 13 days left. So it could be coming soon. Is there a reason why they charge so much? Wouldn't they make more money selling cheaper, having more buyers? Yeah, I mean, essentially that could make sense. More volume, because that's what Tesla, that's what Elon wants, right? Elon prefers volume over margin because he wants to hit these bigger numbers at the end of the day. So you can see right here, Tesla prioritizing volume over margin. So that could be a pretty interesting time as we start to get more. Definitely a prediction is more price decreases as we go through the end of this year, through the end of every quarter. December is going to be a very interesting time to buy a Tesla this year. I have full self-driving with the old Model 3, and I'm with you. The enhanced autopilot is not worth $6,000. I feel full self-driving is currently worth about $2,000. Yeah, 100%. I agree there. Mercedes already has level 3 autopilot. It's sad that Tesla's falling behind. I use the full self-driving sometimes, but it's worse than a newbie driver. Yeah, I used to tell people like full self-driving or even autopilot is like a really bad Uber driver, like really jerky, kind of just like braking really quickly or accelerating really quickly. It's like being in an uncomfortable Uber driver. The only thing useful is the autopilot on the freeway, and that's already free. Yeah, 100%, especially on long road trips. Autopilot is definitely key. I'm wondering if they don't want to upgrade the full self-driving to hardware 4, is there going to be some sort of refund or is there going to be some sort of class action lawsuit? Yeah, well, last time when it happened, when people went from 2.5, hardware 2.5 to hardware 3.0, if you had paid for the full self-driving, they actually, upgraded you for free. But that's a good point because this sounds like hard hardware 4 is not retrofittable to the hardware 3 vehicles. And so, yeah, maybe there might be a class action lawsuit or some sort of workaround to maybe like get a extra discount on the new vehicle. I mean, for full self-driving and other package, it's just updates. Why so much money? Yeah, I mean, this at one point, the full self-driving like on the website used to be like, I want to say $4,000, $5,000, and they kept slowly increasing. And now it's a $15,000 package. But, you know, it did increase 15,000 during like all the other different price increases throughout the past couple of years. So yeah, I mean, Tesla maybe should like bring this down just a little bit. Like this maybe would be worth $1,000, maybe even like $1,500. In full self-driving, that's like a $5,000 add-on option. Definitely not $15,000. I don't even know if it's worth like $5,000 at the end of the day, but it's tough for sure. Hopefully anybody that has bought it, you're enjoying it and you're going to keep the car for a long time. But by the time full self-driving actually comes out and all that stuff, it most likely will be obsolete. Full self-driving beta 11.3.1 is like a 5-star Uber driver. Okay, there you go. I haven't watched any of that stuff yet, but I feel like in that stuff, like with the beta program, all that, you have to be invited into it, but I'm not sure if it's worth like $15,000 at the end of the day. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff, guys. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching. We'll probably be back tomorrow. Just want to get on a quick stream to highlight some of the topics out there. Not much going on besides the Model X discount. Model Y still seems to have a good, healthy amount of inventory, and so they're not really selling as quickly as they have been in the past like couple months. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things that could be coming up with the $7,500 federal tax credit that could be ending or maybe being extended, but definitely pretty interesting. Plus, the full self-driving doesn't add value to resale. Yeah, exactly. Paying $15,000 and it's worth maybe $2,000 to $3,000 in the street value after. Definitely not worth it. Love to see stats on how many people who bought. If you made them $2,000 each, almost every buyer would get them. Yeah, I don't know about it, but if you made it a lot cheaper, maybe more people would actually try it. Or if you made the subscription a lot more cheaper, like more people would actually want to buy it. So, I mean, that could be coming soon, right? We've had all these different price decreases from Tesla across the board, right? So, I mean, why don't they drop the price of the full self-driving and the enhanced autopilot as well? Like if they can drop the price of Model Y long range $13,000, why can't they drop the price of the full self-driving down, I don't know, $10,000 back to what it was? Funny thing is that people have paid the ridiculous amount of $12,000 to $15,000 on top of the car, which is insanity. Yeah, 100%. Because if you think about it, like there could be people out there, I mean, I don't know how realistic it could be, but let's say there's an owner that just bought a Model 3 and they really wanted the full self-driving, like $43,000 car and then a $15,000 full self-driving option. I don't see that happening. Maybe like 0.00001% of people that buy a $43,000 Model 3 and get a $15,000 option. Like it's almost half or what? It's almost a third of the vehicle price right there. I don't think that's happening a lot of times, but maybe it does. Maybe, that's a good question. Like I'm going to try and see if there's any like 2022, 2023 Tesla Model 3 standard ranges with the full self-driving. And I guess there probably is. There has to be some out there at the end because, some people just have more money and they want to spend it than others. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff, guys. Thanks for coming in and watching. Definitely a different chill stream today. We'll probably be back tomorrow. Yeah. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.